I'm Mrs. Arkle, I'm Head of Psychology at Cherwell. And I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the psychology A-level so that when you're choosing your subjects, you can make a good choice about the right subject for you. So, first of all, what is psychology? Psychology is the study of the human mind and behaviour. It covers all aspects from the biological point of view through to individual behaviour and the effect of a group on behaviour. So, why is psychology brilliant? Well, it's relevant to you as an individual and everyone around you. It enables you to gain a greater insight into how and why we think and behave in a particular way. It actually encourages to think in a much more critical way as well. So we develop good critical thinking skills. And it may help to give you a more compassionate outlook on the world, how people behave, and understand the way that they behave.
I only took psychology because I didn't know what it was and I knew it had something to do with biology. Turns out it was a really good choice. Really fun, but really hard. And also you have to do essays. I don't really like essays, so if you can't do essays, don't take it.
Okay, so what topics will you study at AS? First of all, you'll study about memory. So you'll understand how memory works. You look at eyewitness testimony and how that sometimes our testimony can be inaccurate. And also, what are good memory improvement strategies? You'll also look at the topic of attachment. And attachment is about how we form bonds as babies, as small children with our prime caregivers, with our parents usually. We also have to do research methods, and we have to learn about the ways in which we study this human behaviour. Psychology is still a scientific subject, and so we have to approach all our research in a scientific way. We learn about stress, how the body responds to stress, what causes stress, stress in the workplace, and how best we can manage stress. We also look at the subject of social influence. Social influence involves conformity, about how we go along with other people's views, and we also look at obedience, particularly obedience to authority figures. And we study abnormality, not in great detail, but in some detail to understand how we define abnormality, how different psychological approaches view abnormality and explain abnormality in human behaviour. And we also look at some of the treatments for abnormality from all of those different perspectives.
So, are you glad that you've taken psychology as a subject?
Yes, I am very glad that I've taken psychology as a subject. It's very hard, but it's fun and it's relevant.
Okay, so what topics do we study at A2? You go on to A2 after you've done AS. Most people choose to go on, although you can stop at AS. We do 2 papers. In one paper you have eating behaviour, where we look at our attitudes to eating, how do we get them. We look at biological reasons of why we eat, our on and off switch for eating, what makes us hungry. We look at eating disorders. We study biological rhythms and sleep. So we look at various biological rhythms, including our sleep-wake cycle. We look at the functions of sleep, and also sleeping disorders, such as insomnia, narcolepsy and sleepwalking. We study aggression. So, what makes us aggressive? Are there any biological factors that make us aggressive? What are the effects of being in a crowd on aggressive behaviour? In our second paper, we study schizophrenia and look at the explanations of why people are schizophrenic and the treatments for schizophrenia. We also study the psychology of addiction. What is it that makes somebody addicted? We particularly look and focus at smoking and gambling. We also have to study the scientific approach and research methods. This builds on your knowledge from AS, but goes into more depth. Students find this very useful, particularly when they go on to university, as it helps them with their dissertation approaches and any research that they do at university.
The teachers really respect you, and I think that's really important. Kind of like a mutual respect. When you get to A level, you kind of actually become like a person, and the teachers become actually real people instead of teachers. It is it's kind of almost like a family. I think
a little psychology.
We sometimes bring each other food and everything. It's really nice.
Okay, so how will you be assessed at AS and A2? Well, In each year there are 2 exams. So in AS there is PSYA1, which is the first module, which includes memory, attachment and research methods, and you'll be examined in that in January. I put all the students in for a January exam. I find it helps them get 1 exam out of the way before May. The second exam, PSYA2, will be studied in May. This includes stress, social influence and abnormality. So, hopefully there's no resits from the first exam in May, and students find that they do much better having done well in January and then can do well in the May exams. At A2 we have a similar system. We do 1 exam in January and 1 exam in June. So each exam carries the same number of marks, so you get 100 UMS in each module. Okay, when you're deciding which subject to take, should I take psychology? Well, psychology is a fascinating subject, but you have to remember it is an academic subject too. So you have to ask yourself questions like, do I enjoy subjects like English, science and maths? Usually, I would say you need about a B grade standard at least to take psychology. Think about, are you comfortable writing notes? Are you comfortable writing essays? Because you will have to do this in psychology. Also, you need to think, am I able to think beyond my own experience? Because psychology has a scientific approach to human behaviour, you've got to think beyond your own experience. You have to be quite objective about it.
Don't take psychology unless you're willing to work really hard. Although it's a really interesting subject and it's really enjoyable and I don't regret taking it at all, you just have to work really hard and pay attention in class.
Okay, so psychology has lots of new terminology. It's a new subject to everyone and there are lots of theories and studies to learn. So you're probably asking yourself, well okay, what skills do I need? I think most people can do psychology as long as you are highly motivated, you enjoy academic subjects and you're prepared to put in a lot of independent study time. Don't forget, this is an entirely new subject, so you've got to be prepared to spend time learning these new concepts and terminology. On the other hand, if you've actually not enjoyed some of your other subjects at school, I think this is a really good chance to try something new. Everybody comes to A-level psychology on the same level. Nobody's done it before. So you all start at that one level, and so you can prove yourself to be really good at this subject. But remember, you have got to put in the work. So, if you choose psychology, how many hours will you study? Well, in lesson times at AS, you will have 9 hours a fortnight. 4 of those hours will be taught by one teacher and 5 hours by another. At A2, you will have 8 hours per fortnight, 4 with one teacher and 4 with another. So, who will teach you? It will either be myself, I usually teach the 5 out of 4 lessons at AS, and either Miss Fowler or Miss Bragg. We've all done psychology at university, so we know what we're talking about. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, if I choose psychology, where will it lead on to? What kind of careers are relevant to psychology? Psychology these days is a very, very popular course at university. It's highly competitive to get onto a psychology course. But as a subject at A-level, it is widely accepted for a range of university courses, particularly in the social sciences, in the arts, humanities, and in some science courses. It is included as a course that is accepted for medicine. Psychology basically provides a good background to many careers. For example, social work, healthcare, journalism, the media, the legal profession, education, and if you want a career in human resources.
I've chosen to do psychology because I think you can do loads of stuff with that degree. So you could go into I'm thinking of going to business, or you can research or art. So you can literally do everything because you can relate it to everything.
So what you have to do now is decide whether this is the right course for you. If you need any more information, please do come and find me at school, and I will happily have a chat with you about whether it is the right choice for you.